And moving on to something more foundational, how did you take that mindset, everything you learned at PepsiCo, to a 45-person lounge and creating a culture that is your own?
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing when I decided to do the Gray. The Gray Rabbit is a gallery that is a cocktail lounge. And when I started, the idea was I love art. I love creating comfort. I'd love to create something that allows people to feel and be comfortable and experience something different. One of the things that I did know was that the people that I incorporated into that would not only be a critical part of the experience, but also be fun for me. And because it's a much smaller organization and the results are really right there in front of me on a daily basis, I get to see success and failure pretty quickly. But moving to that for me was to be personally satisfied. I needed to do something that on a consistent basis fed me, allowed me to feel satisfied, allowed me to feel good about what we were doing. So the Gray Rabbit was not as frightening for me as it should have been because to some extent I could always pull the plug and run away and hide. But it was also pretty frightening because every time you make a change like that, you're putting yourself out there. Success and failure becomes yours. You open yourself up to be judged. You open yourself up to be looked at differently. We have artists in every time we switch a show. We switch it every 5 to 6 weeks. When you talk to artists about their work, most of them will tell you they do that to create a good feeling and to relieve stress, and they get into their art. They can't help themselves. They create because they're creative. But when they have to put it on a wall and when they have to put a price point on it, and then they have to have a bunch of people in to give them their perspective or ask them what they were thinking, there's some exposure in that that is pretty scary about change. You talk about change modeling. When you put your brand out there and you make it your brand and not the company's brand, and you can no longer go, it's that person's decision or that person's decision, or this is the structure, that becomes a very different experience. So you have to trust yourself. You have to be a little fearless. You have to be maybe a little stupid at times. You also have to be willing to kind of really dig in and change and adapt. I took it on because I knew I needed to. As I've spent 2 years in it, I'm learning a lot about myself and that, what I need.